SAS programming challenges in ISS and ISE studies having data quality issues. Here I'll consider 12 individual studies to be pooled from A12 into one single ISS and ISE study. ISS stands for Integrated Summary of Safety, ISE stands for Integrated Summary of Efficacy, SDTM and ADAM data standards wherever relevant. The problem here is data quality and reconciliation across datasets SDTM versus ADAM. Discrepancies between SDTM and ADAM, say for example ADSL demographics not matching with DM. Now this problem, if you try to imagine, there are 12 individual studies. You are trying to pool into one single ISS and ISE. Now what happens is, if there are data quality issues across all 12 individual studies, you can imagine how much resources, how much time and how much effort that you will be requiring to pile up this discrepancies and ensure that the queries are raised as it is resolved. So what happens here is, whatever the issues that are existing, especially in individual 12 individual studies, you need to cross check the data for the CDISC projects, if it is having the SDTM and ADAM, whether the data it is matching or not. Even if it's a non-CDISC study, you still need to ensure the data should be matching across the derived data sets and the raw data. So let's go to its solution. The solution is to reconcile via programming QC checks, count checks, subject level checks, key variable comparisons, maintain a discrepancy tracker with reasons and resolution notes. Now a very simple example that I would like to say is, you need to check what is the minimum and the maximum, especially for the range. Now you know the inclusion and exclusion criteria, they will mention in a specific clinical trial study that this much age person or the patient is allowed to recruit in that specific clinical trial study. So if it is mentioned that, you need to check the whether is there any outlier, especially in the patient age related. So when you do the prog means summary statistics by variable age, you will have this summary statistics called as minimum, maximum and the range. So you can get this summary statistics from prog means, and you can see whether what is the minimum age and the maximum age in that specific study for that specific demographics domain. So this way, counter check, a very shortcut kind of QC checks programmatically, you need to find out, so that you don't spend too much of time in programming, but your quality should be maintained. Like very short, like say proc tablet, you can use proc print, proc report. So these are simple procedures that will help you the filter conditions, if and then wear clause or the inner joint, outer joint. So very simple, quite quick kind of SAS programming skills you should have, so that even if you have the 12 individual studies, it should within fraction of hours or days, you should ensure that the data quality is maintained across all studies and it is there. Now how do we maintain this? Now maintaining the data quality is only one way. The way we have the tracker can be in Microsoft Office, or especially in the Excel, or if you're comfortable with Microsoft Word. But I would like to prefer having the Microsoft Excel, because it has various reasons, it has the numeric formulas also, you can enter and you can check. So which issues that are resolved, what resolution was given from the site, so all these reasons and the resolution notes. So who resolved it, when it was resolved, what was the resolution information, then at which date and time that issue was resolved. So all these informations you need to ensure that you maintain. Only then things will become easy when you work in ISS and ISE studies. Now say for subject 123 in study L, STTM DM shows gender equal to male, whereas in Adam.adsl gender is showing female. Now what you need to do is, you need to build QC programs. that compare key fields across SDTM and ADAM and identify mismatches. So you can send annotated discrepancy list to data management or clinical for correction. The SAS hint here is you can use proc compare for data level or custom proc SQL checks for key variables. So whenever you see any kind of discrepancies, especially it is only the data management that they will do the correction. Now how data management team they will do the correction, they will go and they will cross check for the site. Now this study has been closed. Even if that specific individual study is closed, which was initiated 5 years before, there are still certain issues. So you need to go back to that company, or if it's an internal project, then you can check for the internal team members as to who was handling that specific study. So this is how you need to sort out. Now if a specific study is ongoing, then it is quite obvious that you will have an online team data management who is currently working. But if the study is closed, then it becomes very difficult to trace that team who was at that time 5 years before, what was done, what is the audit trail, when was the database lock happened, how did it happen, by having so many issues. So it is not mandatory that even if that study is closed you will not find issues, there will be issues. So that is why it is always challenging to work in ISS and ISE studies, because if you are trying to merge certain studies which are completed 6 years before or 7 years before, and that study was handled by some other CR and other company, and you are working in some other company, so you can imagine there are so many stakeholders that are involved. Two stakeholders who did that study, that company has been closed, or whether they will give you a respond or not, and those companies who had been working at that time 6 to 7 years before, are those employees still working in that company? If they are not working, then you'll have new team. So these is all the reality check kind of scenarios that you will foresee. The consequences is very you need to manage, and you need to very ensure that you study each and every individual study thoroughly before jumping into the ISS and ISE SAP creation, because data quality is very important. Now imagine you go for a shop, you try to buy a product, the quality is not good, so will you buy that product? No. In that same and a simple language, whenever you're working on the clinical trial studies, you have this data, right? And if the data is not of good quality, then the analysis whosoever does, either SAS programmer or biostatisticians or any data management team, it will always give as a garbage as the result. So just to ensure, whenever you see any data, especially in clinical trials where you are dealing with the human patients, your data quality cannot be compromised. It cannot be compromised at any cost. Quality has to be perfect, so that whenever the analysis is being done, it gives you the correct results, through which you can interpret, and that's how it benefits the entire society, especially into the healthcare sector. So this is my information saying that data quality cannot be compromised at any cost. So quality matters a lot, especially in clinical trials, in no matter in any company that you work, or no matter in any department that you work, quality is priority. Many thanks for watching my video, and happy learning. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a feedback comment. Many thanks for your support and having great connection.